This on Monday, and Monday we cannot really expect maybe we can't really expect a deep move, or because as you can see, this today's candle how we have already distributed or manipulated lower, and then also struck the major liquidity pool that we've been watching into a key level weekly fair value gap, which you can anticipate a push from. And also with a sweep of liquidities, all these liquidities, then we need more confirmations. We need to wait for something substantial for us to engage. So yesterday I wanted to see the market sweep the previous week's low as well as this fair value area low, and we did that earlier on. I wanted to see a reaction of the daily immediate rebalance, which we have already utilized, and now since we are displacing lower, but whatever we were targeting has already been met, and since we are in a key level, which is this weekly fair value gap, of which would push prices going higher, we need more confirmations to engage in. And as of the 4-hour time frame, that's the 4-hour fair value gap, of which I wanted to see a drop going lower. We didn't really tap into it before the market dropped because this was on Sunday. Sunday opened, swept the liquidities, and now we pulled back into that 4-hour fair value gap. Though currently price action is kind of respecting that fair value gap and also the daily IR that ad showed, which is my context area, of which I want to see a reversal. And since we have also swept those major liquidity pools, and now what we have is these lows, because that has already been swept, we have that low as if indeed we are bearish. That's what I will be watching for, and I will be telling you when I'll be engaging going lower towards this low. So this low, I can change it from the previous week's low to a bearish target. Right there we have the target, if indeed we are bearish. And how should I determine that we are bearish? So currently, if we have this candle, let me move this one to the other side, showing that fair value gap, we have already retraced back into that 4-hour fair value gap. We have also currently swept the 4-hour candles high, and currently we are retracing with this candle having 24 minutes before it closes. It will be closing as a bearish engulfing candle because we have already swept the 4-hour candle high, and we're going to be closing, or if this candle closes below the opening and the closing price of the previous candle, that to me will be a bearish engulfing candle. And from which level am I really anticipating to see a drop going lower? That's why I've left this previous week's low over here. If we see price closing below this and we have displacements going lower, then what I'll be doing is I want to engage with price going lower, because this one has already been respected because it has been a sweep. And if you're bullish, then price shouldn't really close below this level. If you're bullish, want to see maybe a good rejection, which was as of the first candle, which will lead to bullish fair value gaps. But if we drop to the 1-hour time frame, we're noticing we don't have those bullish fair value gaps of this level. Price pushed higher. What you're seeing is only a sweep let's see, over the London highs as well as this high that was here, which is a 4-hour high, and currently seems we are displacing going below. This target is the Asia lows. Remember, today we don't have any news event. We might really consolidate a lot, which we need to be very careful of. So we need to see displacement below this. After we have served this major liquidity pool, price has already manipulated higher, created the daily upper wick, and I think as of the daily, price is currently below the opening price, which is correct. And we need to see candles closing below this previous week's low for me to engage going lower. But since it's also on a Monday, we need to be very careful of what price is doing. If you go to the 30 minutes, we have New York, which has just opened. We are we haven't not really confirmed our fair value gap. Also from the 15 minutes, we have confirmed this 15 minutes fair value gap. Also price pushing. I want to see a closure below this level with a fair value gap or fair value gap being respected around this area. Then we displace below it for me to engage for gold for the XY, which is the opposite for EU and GU. I don't want to engage until we are at this level, so no need for me to reanalyze. I won't be looking at it until we have seen price deliver to this weekly fair value gap. Then we can monitor if price is indeed bearish or bullish. But I think if one can want to look for a position, I'm expecting bullish prices towards this high. So for me, I don't want to be involved in that. Let me see if gold can give me something. Then if not, we can just wait until tomorrow or until the CPI is done. So that's what I'm looking for. Let's see if that's going to happen. Monday, a quick review of our trade today. Okay, Monday's trade, and I want to do a recap on what happened. So as of Sunday, as we had analyzed, I wanted to see the market react of this 4-hour fair value gap. Then we could target this previous week's low. This was Friday's low, also the previous week's low that I was here. So that was my first target. Also, my second target, if you go to the daily time frame, was these lows over here, which was also a previous week's low. If you go to the weekly time frame, these weekly low, these candles low. This candle low is what I was targeting, and then later on I see how price would react to this level, then I react to price towards these fair value gaps level there. So as Sunday had opened off my context area, which was that 4-hour fair value gap, the market didn't tap into the fair value gap before displacing lower. What we saw is the market just opened and tanked lower, swept all those lows that I was targeting, mainly these lows, these fair value area lows. The market swept them. Then again during the Asia station, that's when the market pulled back towards my context area, and specifically the 4-hour fair value gap and the daily IR. You can see how the market sang into that IR and then displaced lower. And so what I was doing is I wanted to see during the New York time. I usually trade only at the New York session. So I waited for these candles to print. Then during the 9 a.m. candle, that's when I wanted to engage in price. But which levels was I watching for? So drop on the 1-hour level, because the market had already swept these lows, the previous week's low. I wanted to see displacement below that low. If indeed the market was bearish, I needed to see a displacement below that previous week's low. And if only we had a sweep and we had a displacement above these 4-hour fair value gap 50% level, as well as the Asia highs, then I was to be bullish towards these relative equal highs, right? But I had those two scenarios for me to engage in price. If neither had happened, then I wouldn't really be involved in the market. And since I had these Asia lows over here, so these liquidities, those were that was my target, right? If indeed the market will close below that previous week's low. So seeing that and the market creating sweeping the 4-hour high. So if we go back to the 4-hour, we notice that this candle, these 5 to 8 candle, this one over here, we swept the 4-hour candles high, we drop lower and close below the opening and the closing price of this previous candle. So to me, that was to me that was a sign that we might be going lower because we have already struck the 4-hour high and we have created a 4-hour engulfing candle. So what I needed to see after seeing that is only a displacement below this low. So as this candle was printing, I dropped onto the 15 minutes time frame. What I did notice is we had these this candle was dropping, right? This candle was dropping below that weekly fair value gap, the weekly low, the PWL, the previous week's low. This candle was displacing. I dropped further onto the 5 minutes time frame, and what I saw by then is the market was displacing with fair value gap nicely. So immediately this candle closed. I entered that with this candle, this candle that confirmed the fair value gap, but then expected this fair value gap to hold price. Then what happened? The market reversed back, and you can see I was gapped. I don't know what why the market did this at around wasn't really 9:30, was around 10. The market just gapped me out, but my MT5, I noticed that the market had already traded above this high. So even though it was really a gap, my MT5 could have taken a loss, but for maybe for trading view, if I had my stops above this level, my trade could have been valid. But then the market started tanking lower after having the first lows. But to me, I was really interested on seeing price reacting below that previous week's low. So immediately I was gapped out. I pushed back to the 15 minutes time frame. This is the previous week's low where I was watching a candle to close below if price is really bearish. So then I saw this candle closing bearish below that, dropping further onto the 5 minutes time frame. What I did see is we had fair value gaps that were being formed. Right, we had a fair value gap there. We had another fair value gap. So immediately this candle was opening. Just entered there and had my stops where I had my prior stops. Then this trade traded lower, though I did reduce my risk for this second trade. So it wasn't really a break-even trade because I did reduce it by far because I didn't want, if this second trade would have been a loss, I didn't want to enlarge that much my drawdown. So I did manage. So with this position, I just reduced the loss, not to break even, but I think it's a small portion of it because of the first loss, and towards the final target, we saw price delivering. So it was a nice price action, nice trade, and I think maybe I just entered early, but also we had seen fair value gap. So to me, everything played well. I just followed the system. It gave me whatever I was watching for and waiting for, and also drove all along to the target. So for the first loser, good loss, and then a second win, which was nicely so. And let's see what tomorrow has for us. So that was today's trade position, and I will be watching also if indeed the market is bearish, maybe towards this monthly breakaway gap, monthly breakaway fair value gap. Right? If you go to the daily time frame, we didn't really form a fair value gap there, but we have closed below this, meaning it's a bearish. We're going to be closing in the next 9 minutes below these close candles. So a market structure shift, and what could attract the market going really lower if we have these fair value gaps, and if the market maybe goes deeper into this level, then we can anticipate to see these gaps or this fair value gap being traded into. But don't want to react before we have seen more confirmations. If indeed we are bearish, I want to see market staying into this fair value gap, then displace below these Asia lows, liquidities, and then we continue lower. So that is it. That was the trade position for today, and good 1 to 2R and also a minus 1R. So I can't say I'm at break even, but yeah, at least I reduced the loser and capitalized on the move. So that is it. Till next time, be safe, guys.